Global Television News Express, President Tinubu orders deployment of troops to Kwara after deadly attack. In business, stock markets gains as investor confidence rises. On the foreign scene, Ghana records lowest inflation in nearly 30 years. And in sports, Nigeria Football Federation emergency meeting rescheduled to March 23rd. Hello and welcome to all the viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Osoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the deployment of an army battalion to Kaima local government area of Kwara State following a deadly attack on Nuku and Guru communities by suspected terrorists. Presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga, who made this known in a statement, said the troops will lead Operation Savannah Shield to flush out the attackers, as the president condemned the assault and described the gunmen as heartless for targeting defenseless civilians. Kwara State officials say at least 75 residents were killed in the attack, while the president urged stronger collaboration between federal and state agencies to ensure justice and provide relief for affected communities. Vice President Kashim Shettima has commended Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nwefuru for what he described as a mature and unbiased approach to restoring peace after the Osho-Oda and Amasiri crisis. Speaking at the Southeast Stakeholders Forum in Enugu, Shettima expressed confidence that the governor's action would deliver lasting peace in the affected communities. He also urged Southeast leaders to harness the region's mineral resources for development, reaffirming the federal government's commitment to regional growth. The chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor George Amopitong, has called on the National Assembly to fast-track the amendment of the Electoral Act to ensure smooth preparations for the 2027 general elections. He made the appeal in Abuja at the first quarterly consultative meeting between INEC and civil society organizations. Global Television's Hadiya Yakubu reports.
The INEC chairman, Professor Josh Amopitong, says timely legislative action will strengthen electoral planning and public confidence. He revealed that INEC had received 171 letters of intent from groups seeking registration as political parties, adding that only those meeting constitutional and legal requirements will be approved.
Let's sensitize the public, particularly political party members, to refrain from hate speech, vote buying, misinformation, disinformation and violence during the campaigns, and to conduct the activities strictly within the framework of the law.
Prof. Amopitong revealed that the Commission will conduct by-elections and off-circle polls on Saturday, February 21st, 2026 in Rivers State and Kano State, while governorship elections will be conducted for Ekiti State on June 20 and Osun State for August 8, 2026. He assured that INEC remains committed to credible, transparent and timely elections nationwide. National President of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Al-Hassan Yahya, highlighted the media's readiness to support the electoral process. He also called on journalists to uphold ethical standards when reporting on matters of national security and public interest.
Let me equally this opportunity to commend you for your laudable programs and initiatives that you are bringing before the table. For us, our doors are always open. It is our hope and prayer you will come up with new innovations and objectives that are going to go in line with our professions.
Speaking on behalf of the civil society organizations, Grace Jerry pledged continued support for INEC and democracy in Nigeria. She urged the Commission to take all necessary steps to protect citizens' rights and ensure their vote counts.
In the lead-up to the FCT election, as usual, organizations who are going to be observing, organizations who are already making effort to sensitize the community, are also pledging their support to the Commission to ensure that the FCT area council election goes seamlessly, and to also call for INEC to do what is necessary, what is important to be done.
As preparations for a busy electoral calendar gather momentum, INEC insists that early legislative action, responsible media engagement, and sustained civil society partnership are critical to safeguarding Nigerians' democracy. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room has faulted the Senate for delaying the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025. The group raised concerns at an emergency press briefing after the Senate adjourned without taking action on the proposed legislation. It's warned that further delay could erode public trust in the electoral process as the country prepares for the 2027 general elections. Global Television Idris Jibrin reports that the House of Representatives has already passed the bill since December of 2025.
The 2023 general elections were marked by promises from INEC on the wide use of technology, particularly the electronic transmission of results, aimed at improving transparency. The failure of that process later became a major subject of dispute in election tribunals. Now the Civil Society Situation Room says the Senate delay in passing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill could leave INEC with no choice but to conduct the 2027 elections under the current Electoral Act.
Results would not be mandatory. It would be at the discretion of INEC. The provision for punishment of election violators will not be implemented. And many of those changes that have been proposed will then be lost because the Senate has refused to discharge its responsibility to Nigerians.
The convener of the group, Comrade Zakaria, said the bill was developed after years of consultations and public hearings by committees of both chambers of the National Assembly, noting that INEC is expected by law to publish the timetable for the 2027 elections by April. According to him, if the amendment is not passed before then, the electoral body may be forced to issue its timetable and preparations based on the old law.
To patriotic Nigerians across the country that are asking the Senate to, in the next 1 or 2 days, to responsibly pass the amendment bill so that it can be transmitted to the president. And we hope that he will speedily assent to it so that Nigerians would be assured that the improved electoral law would be used for the conduct of the 2027 general elections in this country.
The Situation Room is therefore calling on the Senate to urgently reconvene and pass the bill, insisting that the matter is of national importance. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
Meanwhile, the Senate has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 through third reading, but rejected proposals to make electronic transmissions of results mandatory. Instead, lawmakers retained the existing provisions allowing INEC to transmit results in a manner prescribed by the Constitution and the Commission, with Senate President Godswill Akpabio insisting electronic transmission already exists in the law. The chamber also amended timelines for the notice of elections and candidate submissions, adjusted penalties for permanent voter card trading, and set up a conference committee to harmonize the bill. Convicted leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has filed an appeal at the Court of Appeal, faulting his trial and challenging his life sentences imposed by a federal high court in Abuja. Kanu argues that his trial was flawed, citing unresolved objections, alleged denial of fair hearing, and conviction under a law he says had already been repealed before the judgment. He's also asking the appellate court to quash his conviction, discharge, and acquit him on all counts, while insisting on being present to conduct his appeal personally. A federal high court has rejected documents tendered by Omoyele Sowore in a cyber stalking trial involving alleged defamatory claims against President Bola Tinubu. During a cross-examination, a prosecution witness denied knowledge of the past critical statements made against the president by political figures, prompting extended questioning by the defense. The court granted a final adjustment from the cross-examination, warning that no further delays would be entertained in the interest of fairness and judicial efficiency. The federal government has begun distributing agro-processing and post-harvest equipment to farmers and agribusiness owners in Nasarawa State. This is to boost value addition and also cut food losses. Agricultural Minister Abubakar Kyari says the intervention, supported by IFED, targets rice and cassava farmers with a focus on empowering women and youth and also improving productivity and rural jobs. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullah Ishsule also said the initiative aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda as beneficiaries pledge to maintain the equipment to expand output and market access. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating agricultural subsidies, intervention funds, aids, grants has also summoned the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, and key financial institutions over alleged non-compliance with its probe. The committee expressed dissatisfaction with the level of cooperation so far. National Assembly correspondent Aniyetia Patrick reports.
The resolution followed a motion raised by the deputy chairman of the committee, Sunday Umeha, during an investigative hearing held in Abuja. Umeha expressed concern that despite several invitations and official letters, the affected agencies and some financial institutions failed to honor the committee's summons.
That I am constrained to move this motion to compel NISAL MFP, Central Bank of Nigeria, SunTrust Bank, Stanbic IBTC Bank, National Bureau of Statistics to appear before this committee. Mr. Chairman, I also move that all the relevant processes for issuance of relevant summons on these aforementioned agencies and financial institutions.
Earlier at the hearing, representatives of Jais Bank, Unity Bank, and other financial institutions who appeared before the panel were unable to provide some key documents requested by the lawmakers. The chairman of the ad hoc committee, Jamo Adamu, subsequently directed the banks to submit detailed records of inflows and outflows of agricultural intervention funds, as well as comprehensive information on beneficiaries of the programs.
Colleagues paginated. I did the pagination myself.
I will do the pagination, sir.
So please, this is unacceptable. If you want to come before us, you should come preferred. You cannot be going front and forth. You understand? I tried to even paginate. I thought you have that from introduction up to 16th.
The committee also questioned the transparency and accountability surrounding the disbursement of the funds, stressing that the investigation is aimed at ensuring that agricultural interventions reach genuine farmers. Responding to the lawmakers' queries, officials of some financial institutions acknowledged gaps in their documentation and pledged to cooperate fully with the committee.
We will seek the indulgence of the committee to enable us, put the documents in the order you just mentioned, and probably make an appearance in the next sitting coming up next Wednesday.
Dissatisfied with some of the presentations made, the ad hoc committee has now rescheduled its investigative hearing to Tuesday next week, warning that agencies and institutions that fail to comply risk sanctions. From the National Assembly, Aniyetia Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the federal government's decision to concession critical national assets in the transport and maritime sector was driven by the need to improve efficiency, attract private investment, and also modernize infrastructure, enhance service delivery, and boost government revenue. He made this known while inaugurating an ad hoc committee to investigate and appraise the performance of concessionaires operating federal airports, seaports, terminals, as well as related shipping activities from 2006 to 2025. Again, National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
The Speaker, represented by a member of the House, Lori Kwamuti, said the review has become necessary nearly 2 decades after the commencement of the concession agreement. Kwamuti stressed that the exercise is aimed at ensuring accountability, transparency, and the protection of national interests, and not to undermine private sector participation. He tasked the committee with examining concession agreements, assessing revenue remittances and other benefits to the federal government, and reviewing compliance with contractual, regulatory, and safety obligations.
The scope of this committee's assignment is broad and critical. It includes, but is not limited to, 1. An examination of the terms and conditions of concession agreements entered into from 2006 to 2025. An assessment of revenue flows, remittances, and other beneficial benefits accruing to the federal government and its agencies.
Chairman of the committee, Akintayo Kolawole, assured that the panel would strengthen governance, promote accountability, and improve service delivery in the maritime sector, adding that relevant stakeholders in both the public and private sectors would be engaged. The chairman of the Revenue, Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission, Dr. Mohammed Shehu, described the assignments as timely and pledged the Commission's full support to ensure improved revenue accruals to the federal government and the Federation account.
I call on all members of the committee and all stakeholders we shall engage to approach this mandate with the highest sense of duty, professionalism, and commitment to national interest. I am confident that through rigorous oversight, robust evidence-based analysis, and constructive engagement,
what we are always after is how can more revenue be mobilized into the Federation account as well as to the federal government. And I think this subcommittee and its assignment is timely, is apt, and I believe that the Commission will give its 110% support.
The House of Representatives says the findings of the committee will help determine whether existing concession agreements have delivered value for money and protected Nigeria's economic interests. From the National Assembly, Anita Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of ongoing road and infrastructural projects across Abuja, following an inspection tour of several key project sites. Global Television Kabi Hassan reports.
The inspection tour took the minister to major road and infrastructure projects across the city, beginning with the Gishiri community in Katampe district, where he described as strategic, noting that it is among those expected to be inaugurated during the 3rd year of the administration. The inspection team also assessed ongoing bridge construction along the Outer Southern Expressway, also known as Ring Road 1, before proceeding to the Apple Wasa axis to inspect road designated for Apple traders. According to the minister, the projects are critical to improving mobility within the capital city and have clear timelines for completion.
Which is a well job done. We believe it's one of the roads that will be inaugurated in the 3rd year of Mr. President. And lastly, and then again we came to Ossex. You can see the bridges are going on. Well, good job, and then we're now here.
The FCT minister commended contractors handling the project, expressing satisfaction with the quality of work and the pace of delivery. He noted that the Chinese Geoengineering Construction Company is among the firms executing major road projects under the Federal Capital Territory Administration, adding that the administration remains pleased with its performance. Speaking on the Abuja's development as the city marks its 50th anniversary, Wike said the country's capital has witnessed significant transformation in recent years, attributing to the changes to sustained investment in infrastructure. He stressed that all ongoing projects are being executed strictly in line with the Abuja Master Plan to ensure orderly development.
Quite impressed with the quality of jobs that has been carried out by the CGC. So we're happy with what we're doing. By tomorrow again, we'll go to Dunwadaki and where you have the Board of Benchers to see also what CCC is doing.
Wike added that the focus remains on collective interests of residents and the continued development of the nation's capital. The inspection follows a series of infrastructure projects executed across the FCT in the past 1 year, including road networks, interchange, and urban renewal schemes linking satellite towns to city centers. The projects are aimed at reducing traffic congestion and improving access to commercial and resident area across Abuja. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. News Express continues after this weather forecast with business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us.
You're welcome. Recent rainfall events are being considered a temporary shift from the typical dry season condition. These rains are largely influenced by extratropical systems, and this variability is expected to occur intermittently until the onset of the rainy season. With this, going into Thursday, residents of Lagos, Ogun, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states are expected to experience morning thunderstorms. If you're in this region, keep an umbrella handy. To other parts of the country, partly cloudy skies are expected with sunshine intervals in the northern states. Moving into the afternoon and evening hours of Thursday, thunderstorms are expected to intensify and spread, covering both the coastal and most parts of the inland cities, including parts of southern Benue and Kogi states. Warm temperatures are expected, so we advise remain well hydrated and avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. I am Theodora Itum. Thank you for watching.
In business, Nigerian stocks have recorded their strongest daily gains in recent sessions as renewed investor confidence followed closer cooperation between the police and capital markets regulators. The rally came after the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, led the closing gong ceremony at the Nigerian Exchange, signaling a stronger crackdown on market infractions. Market capitalization jumped from 1.37 trillion naira, with officials staying positive, and improved transparency and enforcement are key to sustaining long-term investment growth. Value-added tax VAT allocations to the federal government, states and local governments rose to 7.73 trillion naira in 2025, up from 6.11 trillion naira the previous year. According to the Federation Account Allocation Committee, the increase was driven largely by the higher prices, exchange rate effects, and improved tax compliance, rather than a broad-based economic expansion. Analysts said the figures highlight stronger VAT collection efficiency, but also reveal uneven consumption pattern across states and urban centers. Let's go to the foreign scene now. Ghana's Statistician General Al-Hassan Idrisu says the country's inflation rate has fallen sharply to 3.8% in January of 2026, down from 5.4% in December. The drop was driven mainly by easing food prices and slower non-food inflation, with both categories moderating significantly month on month. A Authorities say the figure marks Ghana's lowest inflation level since the Consumer Price Index was rebased in 2021. The United States and Iran have agreed to hold talks in Oman on Friday, despite sharp disagreements about the scope of negotiations. Washington insists discussion must include Iran's missile program and regional activities, while Tehran says talks should focus solely on nuclear issues. The talk comes amid heightened regional tensions and warning from U.S. President Donald Trump that military actions remain an option. In sports, inspectors from the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has described the Remo Stars Sports Institute as the best football facility in West Africa. The assessment follows inspection ahead of Nigeria's bid to host the final phase of the 2025-2026 CAF African School Football Championship. CAF officials say the facilities meet international standards and are capable of hosting teams from across the continent. The Nigeria Football Federation has postponed its emergency congress in Yenogwa, Bayelsa State, to March of 23rd from the earlier February 14 date. Officials cite unforeseen circumstances amid legal threats and criticism from football reform groups challenging the legitimacy of the Congress. The meeting is expected to address urgent policy matters and preparations for the Federation's upcoming elective Congress. As Global Television News Express comes to an end, here's a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the deployment of an army battalion to Kaima local government area of Kwara State following a deadly attack on Nuku and Wuru communities by suspected terrorists. In business, the Nigerian stocks have recorded their strongest daily gains in recent sessions as renewed investor confidence followed closer cooperation between the police and capital markets regulators. On the foreign scenes, Ghana Statistician General Al-Hassan Idrusu says the country's inflation rate has fallen sharply to 3.8% in January 2026, down from 5.4% in December. And in sports, the Nigeria Football Federation has postponed its emergency congress in Yenogwa, Bayelsa State to March 23rd from the earlier February 14 date. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ubong Usoro.